I mean, I really can't even start. You don't want me to get going with my hillbilly antics. It's horrible.
After the wins at the stadium.
Won't watch it. I think it's a joke. Everybody says the same thing. Nothing gets done. It's two people battling. We were talking about it the other day. Do you really want a presidency? You really want a president? You want to run it? Let's make it a group of 8. Let's make it a panel. Works in everything else but a president, and then he's got to argue with the entire House. Why don't you just have 8 people? So like the court, you know, I mean, Supreme Court. They stay in longer. You got all kinds of different opinions. You have people branching off and building things. Why not? Build it up instead of one person starts getting paid $250,000 a year. Really, President? Really? What? That's not about to happen. They're gonna make all kinds of cash, and you know what? We build planes, we build bombs. They gotta get blown up. You know? Really, this is my favorite. I don't really pay attention much to the war and stuff, but $1 billion. The big Lockheed stealth bombers they're like $1 billion, right?
$1.2 billion.
All right, so they're in the war over in Iraq. One really gets shot down with a land-air missile. A man stood down there and fired down $1 billion machine. Well, yeah, probably because the pilot said, "Nose dive. Those are $1 billion. How are we gonna make money if they ain't getting shot down?"
Sure.
Right? I mean, it's just me. You filming this? I'm gonna get so. See, now you got my brother. Abel, you're gonna have to enlighten.
No.
See, you can't. What? How
Don't talk politics in public.
It's not politics. It's just that was just something we were talking about. I don't understand why a panel. It takes the pressure away from, you know, someone pointing the blame at one president. It's not even remotely. That's just the foul guy in my mind, because no one person can make, you know, a decision. So having that group of 8, it's the panel. I mean, I think it would work perfectly in what they're trying to do, you know, and it takes the pressure off one person, and then they can't be blamed repeatedly about the House and the Senate and everybody. But it's just elect 8, and they can. I don't know if I do Supreme Court where they're lifed in, you know, but definitely give them a chunk, and let's end this whole Republican Democratic sides. Hey, ain't we're supposed to be a nation that takes care of people? Why are we battling? Let's throw down then if we're gonna throw down. You know, civil war. Let's do what we gotta do. I mean, it makes no sense to. But I'm just an idiot. So what do you do? That's what I say. I like that. I think, you know, it just seems like smoking mirrors, because at the end of the day, it's the same things. Talking about deficits and problems, but we still have deficits. We still have problems. We have these things, and it's just blaming the next guy, the Republican. And then they just battle back and forth. Well, it was a Democratic president, so he was a Democrat. Let's go for a Republican. Now you've got a Republican. Let's go for. Nobody's ever going to get any one thing done unless everybody works together. I mean, oh my God, Abel, Ross Perot. The only thing I liked about him, run it like a business. The U.S. wants to be a business. Everybody wants to be in business. Let's all run it, you know, run it like a business. That'd be cool. But
yeah, but the free market without regulations never works out.
Free market without regulations.
If you don't have regulations in the free market, then you're setting yourself up for disaster. You're going back to, you know, you can use child labor. I mean, that's why, you know, we have regulations on things. And like blaming somebody for the EPA, which just started 50 years ago, is totally fucking ignorant. Or like blaming, you know, Obama on 2 wars that George Bush put on a fucking credit card. That's ignorant too. So,
right?
I mean,
that's the thing I feel about Obama.
That's stupid. If you hang $1 trillion deficit into a guy, how's he supposed to make it work? And then you find yourselves in the worst economic peril in our lifetime. So since the Great Depression, and you tell the guy he's not doing a great job by keeping us afloat. Well, fuck, man. What do you want me to do? Stand on your head so you're underwater? I mean, what were the options? So,
and that's my point. Is he probably had great ideas, but everybody's fighting. And what's getting lost is, I think, us. The people. Really. These guys are all fighting. Why is it the same, extremely high percentage?
I don't think it has to be nearly as polarized as it is. I mean, especially with the Conservative Party, you have a third party. You know, like in other countries, even look at Canada, they have a 4-party system. You can choose 4 candidates, and any of those people can end up being the elect. When we look at our country now, because of conservatism, and especially because of the Tea Party is such a radical movement in our country that I consider them to almost be a borderline terrorist organization. And what I mean by that is you're trying to stop the flow of democracy and of ideas. You're literally saying and running on a ticket that you're saying, I will not work with this motherfucker. That in and of itself is wrong, because when you're elected, you know when you go to Washington, D.C., that you're going to be placed on panels where you're going to talk about things like the deficit, things you're going to talk about like health insurance, you're going to talk about these things, and you're going to do it across the aisle. You're definitely going to be put on a panel with people from the other party, but if you're already saying, I refuse to work with those people, well then what are you really doing?
I'm saying
that's terrorism in and of itself. That's stopping democracy from being able to happen.
And it does not, everybody was voted in by the people, and it does nothing for them. They're up there battling. Hey, I made it in. Watch this. Now we're gonna, the same 25 people stay richer and damn because they got the little clique. They ain't trying to bring up too many people. That's why I love the UFC. I loved it. Dana White and those guys just bombarded. They had a great product. The UFC was incredible. The fighters, it was exciting. Everybody loved it. I watched them when they built it. Sat there, pioneered it, you know, and they just dominated with the product. It was good. But that's about the epitome of what this world's supposed to be, man. A great product. People love it. It builds. It explodes. It wow, you know, and it can't be closed down. It's just tough. I think, you know, a bunch of ways that they got to try and, I don't know, the rich stay richer, the poor get poorer. You be hearing that all the time. But I've heard it every day of my life, and we've had a whole bunch of presidents. You know what I mean? So to me, it's meaningless. They might as well have like the British family, the royal family. There's still a house running behind it. And yeah, there's spokespersons. They get to be out there and be an object. Make the president an object and still have your panel in the background. That's just me.
He told over 300 lies in 1 month this summer. I mean, literally 300 lies in 1 month. The guy's a fucking asshole. I mean, that's a blatant statement, and it's a true statement as well. He's a fucking asshole, and he's a liar. And the other thing is these vague generalities. Oh, I have this idea, but I'm not going to share it with you because you're too fucking stupid to understand it. Don't insult my intelligence, bro. Look, you're a brat who was born rich, whose daddy fucking shoved a silver spoon up his ass, and you're going to tell me that because you inherited money, you're important? I beg to differ. Let's put it that way. I believe in, like, you know, the Great Gatsby. Let's put it that way, the self-made man. If I'm gonna like start talking about somebody who's self-made, or somebody I would listen to, it would be that guy. And I don't care how Gatsby made his money. The point being, the same thing, you know, that F. Scott Fitzgerald was talking about even back then. You know, and you got like you got Paul Ryan talking about Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. You know, oh, this was, she saw it coming 50 years ago. Jesus Christ, man, who didn't see it coming 50 years ago? You know what I mean? That's just ignorant to say like this was a true story of the downfall of American politics. We need more individualism and less. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, because individuals, let me tell you, in government roles like that, yeah, there's some super shit. Let me tell you about this one individual in the 30s in Germany. I can't remember what his name was, but he was a fucktard. So that's where I stand.
He's the best guy. I told you, man. That's my little brother. He's the writer. I'm the fighter. That is why he's the brain. You do not mess with my golden child. And I'm just a tub. If you try to come after him, you don't like his views, it's my job to punch you, so run.